Hello students, today we are going to discuss about reading skills. So first of all we would discuss what is reading. So reading is the process of getting back and understanding some form of stored information or ideas. Reading also involves the use of the eyes and the brain. In order to read fast, you need to use more of your brain. Reading fast means reading efficiently. So in order to do this, you need to read purposefully and interactively. Okay. So how do we read? Okay. We read at different speeds for different purposes of reading. Reading for memorization, it's under 100 words per minute. Then reading for learning, it's 100 to 200 words per minute. Detailed reading, reading for comprehension, it's 200 to 400 words per minute. This one is important because it's the essence of most people's daily reading. Okay, so why read? You probably know that even in your own language, reading is regarded as important because it can be entertaining and educational. It can open up new worlds and enrich your life, and it can also improve hand-eye coordination and enhance social skills. But for learning a foreign language, in this case, suppose it's English, reading in that language has additional important benefits that can help you learn the language faster and more completely. Reading is an essential skill for language learners. When your reading skills improve, your listening, speaking, and writing skills improve too. So let's go to some of the specific reasons why English learners are encouraged to read in English. The constant repetition of words and patterns in reading helps you learn and remember vocabulary and grammar structures. Reading helps you become familiar with the rhythm of English. Over time, it will start to feel natural and you will notice when a sentence or phrase doesn't seem right. Unlike conversation, reading is something you can do on your own. Reading is not expensive, often free. Good reading skills can improve your other language skills. You need to learn to read before you can write. Reading is the best way to learn and remember the proper spelling of words. Listening as you read aloud can help you improve your pronunciation skills. So, if you want to improve your English, learn to love reading in English. The best readers often get the best grades, jobs, and opportunities. What to read? As are you overwhelmed by the reading materials that are available? Without spending a penny, you can read printed textbooks, magazines, newspapers at the library, online materials, websites and blogs, and ebooks. Okay, even on your mobile devices. Think about what you like to read in your native language. Can you find these written material in English? Okay, so there are two important things to decide what to read. It should interest you so that the reading is fun and not boring. It should be at a level that is not too difficult for you. So here are some types of reading material to try. Okay, books including children's books and graded readers, newspapers, okay, online news articles, online blogs and about topics that interest you, letters, it can be personal and commercial, transcripts and subtitles on films, short stories, poetry, proverbs, cartoons and jokes, recipes for cooking, advertisement and brochures. Okay, so there are different types of reading, okay, skills. First one is skimming. It's skimming is just for getting the gist of something, and for skimming it's 400 to 700 words per minute. Use skimming when you are trying to decide if a book in the library or bookshop is right for you. Okay, when you are going through a newspaper or magazine in the morning, you need quickly to get the main points and skip over the detail, then you rush to your school. Then it's scanning for a specific focus. Scanning is more than you read at the time. It's around more than 700 words per minute, And when you are looking up a name in the phone book, when you are looking up your name in a lucky draw result list in the newspaper. Next strategy is KWN. It determines what you know about the topic, what you want to know, and what you learn. Then is skip. If you don't understand a word or section, keep reading ahead, come back to the section or word again, and try to figure out the meaning. Use a dictionary if necessary. Then look for headings, subtitles, and keywords. Read out aloud. Children read out aloud when they first start reading. You can too. Get comfortable hearing your English voice. Create timelines or charts. Reorganize what you read in a different format. Rewrite in a different tense. Rewrite in a different format. For example, rewrite an article in letter or list form. Illustrate if you think you are a visual learner. Sketch images or an infographic related to what you read. Write the questions as you read. Think about which questions you might find on a test or quiz. Write them down and answer them. Or quiz a friend. Summarize or retell. You can do this by writing a letter to a friend, writing a blog post, making a webcam video, or just starting a conversation on this topic. Learn affixes because knowing prefixes and suffixes will increase your word recognition. Keep a vocabulary journal. Get a vocabulary partner. Use a pen or ruler. Some people find it easier to read with a pacer. A pen, a ruler, or fingertip can help you keep your pace and prevent your eyes from wandering off. This may not be suitable if you are reading on a computer or mobile device. Adjust the screen to a larger size if necessary. Okay, after this strategies, we will be discussing about some important tips related to readings. Okay, so read at a level slightly lower than what you understand. You should not have to look up a lot of words. It's okay to look up a few words. Make reading a ritual. Choose a time and place to read every day or week. Commit to this reading time as if it were a job. Read with read what interests you. Understand what you will be tested on. If you are working on your reading skills for a particular test, make sure to learn about the test. There may be specific formats such as advertisement that you will have to read in the test. Find free reading materials. Okay, this project Gutenberg is an excellent source, but be careful with public domain books that are written in outdated English. Some words and expressions are no longer in use. Visualize what you are reading. Some people try to imagine they are reading a movie or how to video. Listen and read. Find podcasts or videos that have transcripts and read along silently. You can also read out loud with the recording. Read what you read to your own life. How does the reading apply to you? Think about the author or journalist. How would the reading differ if you were the author? Check your eyesight. If you haven't had your eyesight checked in the last few years, make an appointment. So these are few tips that's going to help you in reading. Okay, and let's come to the reading levels. Okay, now it's important to read texts that are at the right level for you, not too easy, not too difficult. You need to know what your personal reading level is. Okay, for example, your reading level is normally higher than your writing level and higher than your overall level. Ask your teacher to help you to determine your reading level. If you don't have a teacher, try reading a few texts from different levels. If you have to look up a lots of words in a dictionary, the text is too difficult for you. If you don't have to look up any words, the text is too easy for you. Try something. If you don't have to look up any words, the text is very easy for you. Try something at a lower or higher level. A teacher, librarian, or bookstore clerk can help you find something easier or more difficult. Okay, so this was all about the reading skills. The next topic that we are going to discuss today is Vandana Shiva, the tireless defender of the environment and the founder of Navdanya Movement. Vandana Shiva was born in a farmer's family. Her father was a conservator of forests and her mother was a farmer and a nature lover. From the very beginning, she was taught environmental protection and conservation by her family. She did her schooling at St. Mary's Convent High School, Nainital, and Convent of Jesus and Mary, Dehradun. After completing high school, she took physics as her major and did her bachelor's in science from Punjab University, Chandigarh. Then, after working for a very little time at Baba Atomic Research Center, she moved to Canada to pursue her master's degree in philosophy of science from the University of Guelph in 1977. She completed and received her PhD in philosophy, focusing on physics from the University of Western Ontario. Later, she went for interdisciplinary research in science, technology, and environmental policy at the Indian Institute of Science and the Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore. Vandana Shiva has devoted her life to issues like women's empowerment, the environment, anti-globalization, and making our food chemical free. She has written more than 20 books and is one of the leaders and board members of the International Forum on Globalization. Vandana Shiva is also referred to as Gandhi of Grain because of her work for activism associated with anti-GMO, that is genetically modified food. Vandana Shiva is a global face that has millions of followers and she stands for the traditional use of agricultural practices and the elimination of global chemical food companies. Vandana Shiva was born in a farmer's family and was always worried about the climate change, so she took the step to do her bit for the benefit of Mother Earth. This is the story of Vandana Shiva. Birth of Navdanya. Vandana Shiva has been around the world supporting organic agriculture and women empowerment. She wrote and spoke extensively in the fields of food and agriculture. She has brought the change in many countries with her campaigns and activism. Shiva has assisted grassroots organizations of the Green Movement in Africa, Asia, Latin America, Ireland, Switzerland, and Austria with opposition to advances in agriculture development via genetic engineering. Vandana Shiva has authored more than 20 books. Her writings include Staying Alive, The Violence of the Green Revolution, Biopiracy, The Plunder of Nature and Knowledge, Monocultures of the Mind, Water Wars, Privatization, Pollution and Profit, and Stolen Harvest, The Hijacking of the Global Food Supply, as well as over 300 papers in leading scientific and technical journals. In 2003, Time magazine identified Shiva as an environmental hero, and Asia Week has also called her one of the 5 most powerful communicators of Asia. All of this led to the birth of Navdanya, a national movement based on the protection of native seeds and the promotion of organic farming. Navdanya means 9 seeds or new gift, an initiative to educate farmers about the benefits of maintaining diverse and individualized crops rather than accepting offers from monoculture food producers. The initiative established over 40 seed banks across India to provide regional opportunities for diverse agriculture. She had also made a movie on the whole campaign. Vandana decries the impact of globalization and the advent of genetically modified food on the ecology of the earth. She has stated that we need a new paradigm for living on the earth because the old one is clearly not working. She accords a spiritual importance to seeds, drawing on the Vedic tradition in Hinduism, claiming that everything begins as seed. the source of life and the source of the renewal of life. She has stated further that the desire to save seeds comes from an ethical urge to defend life's evolution. I've quoted this from her quote, okay, from her text, direct quote from her text. So, this conviction has inspired her work on the notion of seed freedom, which she argues is compromised by the actions of multinational companies who seek to patent seeds and then charge farmers for their use. Now, Shiva's criticism of the Green Revolution. To understand Shiva's significance, it's necessary to explore the context of the so-called revolution, so-called Green Revolution, which she so strongly criticizes, and its impact on India in the period since the 1960s. The so-called Green Revolution refers to an international effort to tackle world hunger through the introduction of new high-yielding disease-resistant varieties of food grains to developing countries. The American scientist Dr. Norman Borlaug is credited as the main figure behind the research that led to the agricultural innovation behind the Green Revolution. Following successful intervention in Mexico, where new technologies combined with the introduction of a new variety of wheat led to that country becoming an exporter of wheat by the 1960s. The Indian government invited Burlock to understand similar work and undertake similar work on the subcontinent, which was facing huge difficulties in feeding its people because of war and massive population growth. Burlock and his research team succeeded in developing a new variety of rice grain called IR8. Such was the perceived success that Burlock was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970. However, opponents like Shiva have criticized what they see as the appalling consequences of these scientific developments for farmers. Broadly speaking, she has argued that the Green Revolution, through its use of fertilizers and pesticides, has led to pollution, a loss of indigenous seed diversity and traditional agricultural knowledge, and a dependence of poor farmers on costly chemicals. Shiva has characterized the Green Revolution as maldevelopment, arguing that moral development militates against equality in diversity and superimposes the ideologically constructed category of Western technological man as the uniform measure of the worth of classes, cultures, and genders. Seed freedom. Now, Shiva's opposition to globalization extends beyond concern about the damaging impact on the earth of the use of chemicals to a concern about the fundamental rights of human beings to grow their own seeds. She argues that the efforts of chemical corporations to move Indian farmers away from centuries old practices of subsistence farming to grow a monoculture was aggressively promoted by the World Trade Organization and the International Monetary Fund in the 1980s and 1990s, with disastrous consequences for biodiversity and indigenous farming practices. These consequences relate to the impact of genetically modified organisms. Shiva has claimed that until the 1960s, India was successfully pursuing an agriculture development policy based on strengthening the ecological base of agriculture and the self-reliance of peasants. But the advent of monoculture, as promoted by Biochemical Corporation, where farmers tempted by high yields purchased seed strains that required the application of large amounts of fertilizers and pesticides, led to a shift towards productivity over diversity and created a new seed imperialism. Vandana has equated the practice of monoculture with a monoculture of the mind, which cuts off the impacts of the relationships that make nature work and make human society work, referring here to the interconnectedness of things, which is such a key theme of our life's work. So, this is all about Vandana's contribution to the environment. She also talks about ecofeminism and gender justice. In her book, there's one book written by Vandana Sharma. The book is titled as Earth Democracy. She says gender equality requires seeing a woman in their full humanity as producers and creators, as custodians of culture, as political decision makers, as spiritual beings. So, this very quote reflects Shiva's strong feminist viewpoint. She compares the way, okay, women are treated by patriarchal society with how the earth is treated by capitalist society. So I hope you acquired a great knowledge on Vandana, okay, how she protected, how she has contributed towards environment. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you so much for being a very patient learner and listener. Thank you so much once again. Have a good day.